Hansel and Gretel have become bounty hunters. Don't like witches for, a very good reason, right? And that's what their lives are. And, it's the one line on it's pretty interesting. But it was really important to all of us to want to have that bond, as you said, was really, really important, going through such a tragedy. When you only have each other, you don't have parents, witches are trying to eat you. So you gotta take the pain and do something good with it.
You move, you die. Get her wand.
Hansel and Gretel have this I suppose you could call it a gift where their witches' spells don't work on them. So that allows them to do what others, like there's trackers and other hunters, but the witches' spells can kill them and hurt them or turn them into frogs or whatever the heck they can do, But their spells don't work on us.
Action.
They're starting to wonder who they are and why their parents abandoned them when they were kids, and why is it that they do this, and so they're sort of they're doing their job. It's become quite mundane in a way, even though it's killing witches, and so then something comes into the story which elevates everything and makes it more tense for them, so that and lots of things come together. I sort of have the same instincts and same mind, and very in tune with one another. Yet they are so different. He is sort of, she is the brains behind the operation, and he's the brawl. He's the action. He's the joker. He's the show off, and she's, she lets him do that. That's how they work. She's very much more the watcher and the serious one. But the thing that I loved about the script, and I think I can speak the same for Jeremy, when reading it, was that the heart of it is a brother and sister relationship. The brother and sister who have been through loads and lost their parents and don't know who they are, and are reliant on one another.
I play Muriel, and Muriel is the head witch. Let's say she's the most powerful witch, and she sort of rules all the other crazy witches that we have on the movie. Well, you have to give Tommy credit for what he's done with this film. He's taken the very well-known Hansel and Gretel fairy tale and twisted it around, turned it on its head, and done something very unexpected and different with it, so that it's not the fairy tale for little kids anymore, but it's a grown-up version of it, and sort of, what happens after the fairy tale that we've all known is over, and they grow up, and, they go and hunt witches.
I don't think people realize how dark those original fairy tales, were. I mean, it was pretty violent. And I remember for Hansel and Gretel, I had this cassette that I used to listen to with the whole fairy tale, and it was brutal. And I still remember to this day how when the fairy tale ends, when they shove the witch in the oven and they close the door, they have this horrible sounds of the witch is screaming and scratching the inside of the oven with her fingernails and just burning to death. And you listen to this when you're 5, 6-year-old, it makes an impression.
Gretel, famous witch hunter. Finally we meet.
My previous movie was a Nazi zombie movie, and it was kind of a mix between everything I love with movies. You have horror and you have comedy and you have tons of gore. And I thought, in my head, it's always, if you can successfully match those elements into one movie instead of just going for one direction, it's always somehow a bigger experience, and a more fun experience. And so that was my goal with Hansel and Gretel, to take all these things that I love and try to incorporate them into this action story. I knew it had to be an action movie, of course. but also spice it with horror elements and comedy elements, and that was the goal going in.
It's a beautiful set. It's a magnificent set, and it's always a pleasure to be on a set that has been built by great craftsmen and great visionaries. It's something sometimes you walk onto green screens as an actor a lot, or you do modern dramas. You're in the streets or in the office or whatever. But when you walk into, it becomes sort of, you have a reverence and you have I don't know, you just feel like someone has built all this detail, and it's been so beautiful designed. So as an actor, you want to match it. You want to be good. You want to match the surrounding you're in. They do a lot of live flying too, just with wires and harnesses, and which is also rare today, because it's all done in green screen. Here they do it in the forest a lot too, and they rig, and they have, take days to rig, and it looks fantastic.
Mary Bowler.
Yes, as I said.
Well, I need to know where she lives. Sheriff, tell me where she lives.
Well, the true story that most kids read, whether it's some of the darker interpretations of the Grimm's fairy tale or the ones that have been cleaned up a bit, all kind of share the common element that the father is reluctantly or coerced by a bit of an evil stepmother to take the kids out into the forest. Some stories have because they're poor, there's no food, there's not enough for the family, and so they repeatedly take the kids out. The kids find their way back with breadcrumbs and rocks, but ultimately they're left to fend for themselves and get lured into the Candy Witch's house, where they're fattened up to be eaten, but they turn the tables and cook the witch. And I think for most of the versions of the fairy tale, that's where the story ends. And for Tommy, that's, minute 3 of the movie, and that's where his story begins.
3, 2, 1, action!
What's been happening for them is that they've kind of grown up and become almost celebrity witch hunters in a fairy tale world where witches exist, and if vampires, are after blood, in our movie, witches are after kids. That's the thing that they kind of eat. So if your kid's missing and you've got a witch plague problem, if you can, you call Hansel and Gretel to help you out.
In that case, hop up.
Don't touch the gun. Come on.